All right, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week. Hope everybody's having a very good day. And we are going to take a look at something that I almost never see. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen this before. And mark the date and time here because we actually have a pretty healthy amount of synchronicity between two websites that we like to use that we usually do not see. Now, if you've been following this series for long enough, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, maybe you don't, but all will be revealed in due time. So, Pass Rush Friday, we just take a look at the pressure numbers from the different players on the team over the most recent week and also the season so far. So, right away, you're probably like, okay, we're not off to the best of starts here. Defensive line, which has been great at getting pressure all season. You've got one pressure all game, one from Byron Murphy, and that's it. Before we go any further into this video, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. Let me tell you, if you're not using Sleeper this year for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Check out the left side of your screen right now. Look at all the great fun stuff you can pick on over there. All kinds of over-unders, pretty much any sport you can imagine. Obviously, we're big fans of football around here. Let's take a look at my entry for this week. I've got Jerry Jeudy going over 34 yards against the Bears. I got Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown against the Bengals. I've got Pat Mahomes going under 241 passing yards against the Chargers. And I have Jason Myers kicking at least 2 field goals against the Colts. So get on over to Sleeper. You can put together an entry just like this. And if you use promo code SBN, you can get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check them out and test your football knowledge. So, not really what you're looking for there. Not the first time it's happened this year, but still not very good. Although, I want to say a couple things real quick before we move on. So, first of all, both Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy have now met or, well, actually surpassed my preseason projection by one. So they're both doing a good amount more than I expected. Second of all, last year, Leonard Williams, his pressure count was 30, and I set it at 25 because I thought there's no way he's ever going to be as good as he was last year. There's no way he's going to match that. He probably will. He's got 26. He's got at least a very good chance of getting past 30 and maybe making this a year all around just as good as last year in slightly different ways, but I think you can make the argument he's been as good as he was last year, which to me is crazy because of how great he was in 2024. Nothing from the linebackers, Ernest Jones, Knight, Thomas. Not much to say here this week. No pressure, so nothing there. I think PFF may have given Knight one pressure, so there is a little bit of disharmony here, but I'll get to the point I'm trying to arrive at later in the video. Edge rushers, a little bit better. Not a bad game from the edge rushers. And watching that game, I definitely got the sense that Seattle was not delivering a ton of pressure. So it's good to see the numbers from PFR are a little bit more kind. You've got 3 pressures from DeMarcus Lawrence. So he continues his tear, leading the team in edge pressure by a wide margin, which is amazing because he's also such a good run defender, too. You would think that he couldn't do both. Nwosu with 1, Mafe with 1, Hall with 1. So little bits of contributions from these 3 guys. And Nwosu has now met my preseason projection. Lawrence met it forever ago. We're not even going to talk about that. There's nothing to say. But Nwosu, I was not super high on him as a pass rusher this year, but he has been, I think, I would go so far as to say better than I expected. He got back faster than I expected, and he got himself into a to playing a high level of football pretty quickly. So 6 pressures from your edge rushers, that is perfectly fine. We've had about probably that many on average. Maybe that's slightly below average, but in a game like that, yeah, I think that's pretty strong. Cornerback. So a lot of action here, actually. You had 1 from Witherspoon. We knew about that. And you also had 2, yeah, that's right, 2 quarterback pressures from Reek Woolen. Reek Woolen almost never blitzes, much less gets pressure. So shout out to him. I mean, I think we all remember the plays where he got pressure because they stood out so strongly, but it was great to see Woolen getting that pair of pressures, and Spoon too. I mean, it was a game where I think that the traditional guys in the front, like the front seven guys, occasionally struggled to get pressure. The only guy who did with any degree of consistency was DeMarcus Lawrence. So the blitz needed to work, and I would say that it did. So, by the way, Witherspoon, Woolen, and Job are now ahead of my preseason projections for them. Not that it really means that much because I had so little. Like, my total projection for the whole positional group was 6. Now it's 10. So that's great. I'm not going to say it's super impactful, but this stuff matters over the course of a season. And then we get to safety, and there was only one this week, but it was a big one. Nick Emanwari, with his first career sack, is also his 4th career quarterback pressure. So, great stuff. And that is your only pressure from a safety this week. Nothing from Kobe, Love, or Okada. But here's the fun part. 11 pressures, according to PFR. That is the exact same number that PFF had. Now, both sites get there in a different way. Like, PFF gave Emanwari 2 pressures, and I believe they gave D-Law 2 pressures instead of 3, and I don't think they gave any pressures to, I want to say Nwosu. I'm not 100% sure. So they got there in a different way, but how often do you see PFF and PFR come to the same number of pressures when that number of pressures is actually relatively high? Like, not super high. 11 is not special, but it's not like both sites had 2, and there's really not much to say because it's like, yeah, we got no pressure. 2 pressures, that's probably about right. There's probably a lot of unanimous decisions there, so that doesn't mean anything, but you do not see PFF and PFR get the same number on a number higher than, I would say, 5 almost ever. Usually that's the point where they branch off really hard. So 11 quarterback pressures from both sites. Again, we get there in slightly different ways, but we get to the same destination. And right now, with 4 games left, we are 25 pressures short of my preseason projection. Now, the preseason projection is a little bit weird because I've added players to the list that I initially didn't have because I didn't think they would play, or I didn't even know they'd be on the team or whatever. So the preseason projection, I mean, it's most of the way there. It's not all the way there. And realistically, I think that this number should just be kind of a flat 200. But regardless, we're probably going to get there too. So however you want to slice it, this pass rush has met and exceeded expectations at every turn. So, yeah, great to see. I know it's not everything we wanted, but shout out to Kirk Cousins for only getting sacked once when he got pressured 11 times. Like, that's not easy to do. And he did it by getting the ball out of his hands really fast in a way that felt in control and orderly and a part of the plan. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Many more videos coming later today. It is Friday, so going to be maybe a little bit slow. I'm going to talk about, I'll talk a little bit about the Huskies. I'll talk about the injury report when we get it, and we'll see where things go. But let me know what you guys think down below. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday, and go Hawks. Good effort from the pass rush, although not really a great one this time around.